Michael Jordan is widely considered to be the greatest basketball player of all time. If you've seen the Last Dance documentary on Netflix, you know that MJ was a ruthless competitor and was not afraid to talk trash and disrespect other players. In today's video, let's take a look at the times Michael Jordan disrespected NBA players. But before we get started, like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel for new videos like this one every week. Barkley and Jordan's friendship started back in their playing days in the NBA. Although the two always seemed to have a good relationship on camera, their competitive nature would always get the better of them, and they would often take things too far. Take the 1993 NBA Finals between the Bulls and Suns for instance. Despite Barkley and Jordan facing off against one another in the series, they would often hang out together between games and then seemingly pause their friendship when the next game came around. The day before Game 4, when the Bulls were ahead in the series 2-1, MJ and Barkley went golfing. The two played 48 holes of golf, and Michael ended up buying Chuck a $20,000 diamond earring. Now when the Bulls assistant manager asked Michael about this, Michael replied, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's $20,000 to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat f***." Jordan went on to drop 54 points in Game 4, and Barkley didn't touch him once. To be fair, Michael and Charles have been good friends for a long time since this incident, so maybe MJ was joking on this occasion. Jordan's intensity and desire to win meant that he held his teammates to an incredibly high standard. Sometimes this resulted in players getting frustrated with MJ, which led to conflicts even with his own teammates. Following a playoff loss to the Orlando Magic in 1993, the Chicago Bulls signed Steve Kerr in the offseason to improve their three-point shooting. Shortly after joining the team, Michael and Steve were going at each other in a scrimmage. They got tangled up and started shouting and swearing at each other. The incident continued to escalate, and Michael ended up punching Steve Kerr in the face, leaving him with a black eye. If that's how MJ treated his teammates, you can only imagine how he would treat players on opposing teams. Jordan was a truly ruthless competitor, and he would never back down against anybody. One of his most disrespectful moments came against Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy was a great basketball player, but he's more famous for being the shortest player to ever play in the NBA, standing at just 5'3". Muggsy was a valuable player for the Charlotte Hornets, but one moment against Michael Jordan destroyed his confidence. It was Game 5 of the 1995 NBA playoffs, and the Bulls and Hornets were tied at 2 games apiece. In the last minute of the game, the Hornets were down 1 point, and Muggsy had the ball with Michael guarding him. Michael stepped back and gave Muggsy room to shoot and yelled, "Shoot it, you f***ing midget." Muggsy missed the shot, and the Bulls would go on to win the game by 1 point, eliminating the Hornets from the playoffs. This moment humiliated Muggsy Bogues and the Charlotte Hornets, and Muggsy later admitted that this moment could have ruined his NBA career. In 1988, the Bulls traded Michael's longtime friend and teammate Charles Oakley to the New York Knicks in exchange for Bill Cartwright. The trade was controversial at the time because Oakley was an excellent defender and the team's second leading rebounder over the past 2 seasons. The trade angered MJ, and he decided to take his frustrations out on Bill Cartwright, who was the new guy on the team. Michael would throw Bill almost impossible passes and would later criticize Cartwright for not catching them. Jordan also called Cartwright the medical Bill after he missed a few games with a larynx injury, leaving him with a hoarse voice. MJ eventually pushed Cartwright too far, and Bill had to set Michael aside and have a word with him. The instance took place in the Bulls locker room after Cartwright had had a bad game. Michael taunted Cartwright in front of the rest of the team until Cartwright took Michael to one side and said, "Look, if you ever do anything like that again, you will never play basketball again because I'll break both of your legs." In an interview for one of his books, Jordan later admitted that he was wrong about the Bill Cartwright trade, and that although he loved having Charles Oakley on the team, Bill made all of the difference during their championship runs. Before he was traded to the Bulls, Rodney McCrae had a solid reputation in the league, and everyone thought he was going to be a great addition to the Chicago Bulls team. When Rodney was traded to the Bulls in the 1993 NBA season, he was heavily hazed by his fellow Bulls teammates. It was reported that Jordan led the charge and let McCrae know that he was worthless until proven otherwise. A former Bulls teammate of McCrae recounted how MJ would treat Rodney in practice. The source said, "He's the most viciously competitive player I've ever seen, but that's what makes him, I think, the greatest player ever." He's practically ruined reserve forward Rodney McCrae for us. When the two players are on the opposite teams in scrimmages, Jordan was in Rodney's face screaming, "You're a loser. You've always been a loser." McCrae's confidence was visibly impacted by Jordan's hazing, and he barely averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds per game for the Bulls. McCrae would cut his career short and retire at just 31 years of age, after only 1 season with the Bulls. It looks like Jordan practically ruined McCrae's career. The history between Robert Parish and Michael Jordan began early in Jordan's career as he faced off against the loaded Celtics team in their twilight years during the NBA playoffs. Robert Parish signed with Chicago as a free agent in 1996, where he was greeted by Jordan as a teammate as opposed to an adversary. At the time, Parish had 20 years experience in the NBA and was an imposing presence, standing 6 foot 11 inches tall. He'd also played with plenty of other NBA superstars during his time with the Celtics, so he wasn't going to let the young Michael Jordan bully him around. During a scrimmage game, Parish botched a play which incited a reaction from Jordan. MJ was heckling Parish from the other side of the court, and the two had a discussion about it to clear things up. Parish told Jordan, "I'm not as enamored with you as these other guys. I've got some rings too, you know." Jordan then replied, "I'm going to kick your ass." Parish took one step closer to MJ and told him, "No, you really aren't." Prior to the 1992 Olympics, Magic Johnson had just retired after being diagnosed with HIV, and Larry Bird had been struggling with a recurring back injury for the past few seasons and was contemplating retirement. Despite their circumstances, the two were inspired to be part of the United States Dream Team so they could dominate together one last time. However, things would be different this time around, with the young Michael Jordan now on the team. Magic recalled that practices with Jordan were always really intense, but there was one moment that really got to him and Larry. One afternoon after an intense training session, the players returned back to a custom lounge built by the NBA just for the Dream Team players. Michael was there smoking a cigar, and Larry and Magic were sitting drinking a Coke and talking. Michael came over, put his hand on Magic's shoulder, then put his other hand on Larry's shoulder, and said, "Guys, there's a new sheriff in town." The two replied, "You know what? You're right. It's your league now, MJ." This moment became an unofficial passing of the torch between the previous two greatest players in the league and the promising young star in Chicago. Bird and Magic retired from basketball the following season, and Michael went on to become the greatest player of all time. So, what do you guys think of Jordan's most disrespectful moments? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching today's video. Please click the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for new videos like this one every week.